All right, let's talk about something in your home. There's this unsung hero working its tail off, especially if you live somewhere with a brutal climate. I mean, it is hands down the hardest working, least appreciated piece of equipment you own. So let's dive in. So let me ask you this. Think about it for a second. Who or what in your house works nonstop? I'm talking 24/7, no days off, no vacations, constantly fighting to keep you comfortable. Any ideas? Yep, it's your air conditioner. And in a place like South Florida, it's not just some appliance, it's a hero, waging a nonstop battle just to make your home livable. Now, every hero needs a villain, right? And for your AC, that villain is the absolutely relentless climate. This isn't just a small challenge, it's a full-on year-round war. Just to put it in perspective, on a totally normal summer day, that feels like temperature, the heat index, can easily push past 110 degrees. That is what your system is up against, hour after hour, day after day. It literally never gets a break. And you know, the heat isn't even the only enemy. The climate attacks with a whole arsenal. You've got that crushing humidity, forcing the system to pull gallons and gallons of water out of the air. Then there's the corrosive salt air that just eats away at all the metal parts. And don't forget the afternoon thunderstorms that can cause power surges, jolting all the sensitive electronics. It's a constant assault. This quote right here really gets to the heart of it. Unlike other places where EC units get a nice long break in the fall and winter, here that battle is pretty much year-round. And that constant, nonstop operation, well, that's what leads to some very specific and predictable failures. So how does this constant attack actually take our hero down? Let's break down the most common ways an air conditioner finally gives up under all this extreme pressure. First up, we've got a really sneaky, internal enemy, the drain line clog. Now, this isn't some big, dramatic explosion. It's a slow, silent blockage that can shut your entire system down without any warning. And what's wild is how this whole thing happens. It's a chain reaction, right? All that high humidity creates constant condensation, water. That water just sits inside a warm, dark pipe, which is like the perfect little petri dish for algae to grow. Before you know it, that gunk builds up, creates a clog, the water backs up, and bam, a safety switch kills the whole system so you don't get a flood. All from a little bit of slime. Okay, next up is a much more dramatic failure, the sudden burnout. This is like a soldier just collapsing from sheer exhaustion in the middle of a battle. One minute it's working fine, the next you've got nothing but warm air blowing out of your vents. So think of a capacitor as the little battery that gives the big motors in your AC that powerful jolt they need to get started. Well, extreme heat absolutely cooks these things, and they wear out incredibly fast. When one of them fails, you might still hear the fan spinning, but the compressor, the real heart of the system, it can't start. No compressor, no cold air. Simple as that. Our third common failure is what I like to call the slow bleed. This one is a gradual weakening caused directly by that corrosive coastal air, and it slowly but surely drains the system of its cooling power. And here you can really see that direct link between the climate and a specific failure. That humid, salty air literally eats away at the copper lines that carry the refrigerant. Tiny little leaks start to form, the refrigerant escapes, and the system has to run longer and harder just to try and keep up. Eventually, that overwork just burns out the compressor. Okay, so knowing the enemy is half the battle. Now, let's arm you with some knowledge, the hero's toolkit, if you will. Understanding a couple of these key terms will help you know if your system is actually fit for the fight. You're going to hear this term SEER rating thrown around a lot. Don't let it intimidate you. Just think of it like miles per gallon for your car. It's just a simple score for how energy efficient your AC is. The higher the SEER number, the less electricity it uses to cool your house, which means, you guessed it, lower bills for you. Next up is the refrigerant. This is the system's lifeblood. Now, older units often use something called R22, which was actually banned back in 2020. That means getting refills now is incredibly expensive. Modern systems use R410A, which is way more efficient, more affordable, and a lot better for the environment. Just knowing which kind your system uses is a huge piece of the puzzle for understanding potential repair costs down the road. So, we know the enemy and we're armed with some knowledge. So how do we actually win this war? Well, it's time to switch from playing defense to playing offense with a real proactive strategy to help our hero out. The absolute best strategy is not waiting around for something to break. It's all about playing defense. A simple, proactive, preventative maintenance plan is the single most important thing you can do for your AC. A yearly tune-up directly fights against all those common failures we just talked about. A good technician will clean the coil so the unit can breathe easier. They'll clear out that drain line to prevent those algae clogs. They'll test the capacitors so they can be replaced before they burn out on the hottest day of the year. And they'll check the refrigerant levels to catch any of those slow bleeds. But look, even with the best defense, every hero eventually faces a final battle. And at some point, you are going to face the big question. Is it time for a costly repair? Or is it time for a full replacement? This chart right here is your cheat sheet. It gives you a really clear framework. Generally speaking, if your system is less than, say, 12 years old, and the repair is a one-time thing that costs less than half of a new unit, repairing probably makes sense. But if your system is over 15 years old, if you're needing frequent repairs, if it uses that crazy expensive R22 refrigerant, or if your energy bills are just through the roof, it's probably time to replace it. You have to treat it as a financial decision, not an emotional one. So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your air conditioner is fighting a war for you every single day. The real question you have to ask yourself is, have you given your hero the tools and the support it needs to actually win?